There's no comp for this guy.
No.
Covers the 49ers for The Athletic. He's an author of Muddy the Water, a genuinely good book. I had a genuinely a really, really good time reading Muddy the Water. Go get it wherever you get your finest books. Matt Barrows joining us now on The Insiders. What's going on, Matt?
Did you enjoy it, Kyle? Because I see a very snide comment on Amazon.com from a Kyle Madsen, maybe, where he suggests that perhaps it was my co-author that did all of the great writing and that I was just along for the ride. How dare you?
I would never.
How dare you?
I would never, first of all. I'm going to find this Kyle Madsen. I'm going to stick my finger in his chest. And Matt, just for you, I'm going to give him the who's who. I'll give him the what's what. And I'll even give him the what for. I'll do that just for you.
Thank you.
I really
I'd appreciate that if you maybe set the record straight. I was the brainchild of the operation. It's basically loosely based on my life. Short of me killing a bunch of people.
Matt, we're gonna need to talk to you about all the people.
That might be happening. That might be happening soon. Stay tuned is all I can say.
You're telegraphing. Muddy Water 2, The Reckoning.
It's a future biography.
That's a great title. That is a great title.
Really, really good book. Really enjoyed it. And enjoyed it almost as much as I've enjoyed all your work covering the 49ers for The Athletic. And of course, the Sacramento Bee before that. Salute to the Bee. I feel like at Niners training camp, there hasn't been a lot of Brock Purdy stuff. We hear how he did in a day. It hasn't been anything spectacular. It hasn't felt like it's been anything catastrophic. Do you feel like that's a good or bad thing at this point?
Well, he missed one day for the birth of his daughter. So there was one Brock Purdy-less practice. But to me, the story of training camp so far has been that the defense looks good, or at least looks really energetic and looks Robert Saleh-like. I would think that Saleh has to be, and he's never going to admit to being happy with practices. There's always something to work on. But I think that the atmosphere, like I said, the energy level, the aggression is where you want it. I think that two of the best players in training camp have been defensive players, and that's Nick Bosa and D. Winters, which I think a lot of people on the team love to see. D. Winters is in line at least to take over that Dre Greenlaw role. So you want somebody who's active, who's aggressive. And the other part is that Brock Purdy hasn't had 4 out of his top 5 receivers for big chunks of camp. And now we're talking Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall came back the other day. He's not even close to being full go yet. Jacob Cowing would be number 5. He had a really good offseason back in the spring. Did a lot of work with Purdy and Pearsall in Florida and in their native Arizona as well. He was somebody that was coming on and sort of in a place where he could take over a bigger role. And now he's sort of on the sideline, probably won't be back until mid-August or so. So, he's thrown to a lot of young, inexperienced receivers or guys who just arrived in camp.
Matt, the receiving room it looks like it's a huge problem for this team. Well, just where are you with the level of concern, whether it's for Jennings or, whether Ayuk will ever be back or whether any of these other guys can step up and actually be functional and be part of what's going on for this season?
Yeah, I agree. It's the position of biggest concern right now because of everything I just mentioned. And one of the things I didn't mention is that Demarcus Robinson, who's looked good and who Mac Jones and Brock Purdy throw to a lot, probably is going to be suspended for X amount of games to begin the season. So you're looking at a scenario where, at best, it's Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, and you're looking for somebody to kind of step up there into that 3rd, 4th, even the 5th role for that opener September 7 in Seattle. So there are some guys who are competing. Jordan Watkins looks better than you would expect for a rookie receiver. Russell Gage is a name that probably not a lot of 49ers fans are familiar with, but among the veterans, he's stood out as well. Those two guys to me have stood out more than any others from that pack of guys who are sort of competing for playing time, and important playing time to begin the season.
Talking with Matt Barrows, covers the 49ers for The Athletic. You mentioned D. Winters earlier. That was a player going in that I thought might just kind of be playing for a roster spot at this point. Is the starting will linebacker spot his to lose now, given how well he's played?
I agree with you. I thought that he wasn't consistent last year. I think that they were waiting for him to kind of take over from Devondre Campbell, who was terrible. But Winters never could, because he could never string together enough games where he was healthy enough to do that. And so he'd been a disappointment over his first 2 years, no doubt about it. And then they use a early third round pick on Nick Martin, a prototypical weak side linebacker. And you thought, okay, the handwriting's on the wall for D. Winters. And then he comes back and he's the best player in the spring. And he's been one of the best players in the summer so far too. And sort of the question going into the summer was, okay, the spring is fine, but that's sort of like a passing camp. And so guys who are fast like Winters, it's not going to be a lot of running plays. You're not going to get suckered by play action. He's going to do well in the spring practices. In the summer, running plays go on, more pads, more hitting. How is a quote unquote finesse player going to do? He's done really well. He's looked good against the run. He's looked good against the pass. He's looked good. So yeah, I think at this point it's a pretty clear line between him and Nick Martin. With everything else, he just has to stay healthy. And I think if he does, then the job is his.
You are listening to the Insiders here on ESPN 1320. Joining us today, Matt Barrows from The Athletic. Matt, we do have a kicker battle. Where are we at with this kicker battle? Because to me, watching Jake Moody finish out the year last year was tough. Greg Joseph is in camp. Do you have any update? Do you have any idea who's going to win this?
Yeah, not a lot of Jake Moody jerseys being sold in the Bay Area in Northern California. I wouldn't think. Right now they're locked. It's we've been charting the field goals, and the 49ers are trying to make this as intense competition as possible. When these guys kick, Kyle Shanahan is out there, arms folded. He's watching from a short ways away. John Lynch, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, everybody's watching. So they're trying to crank up the intensity of it. And they're making these guys kick back and forth. So Greg Joseph will attempt a kick, and then immediately Moody will attempt one from the same spot. So far, both are 14 of 16 on those. So they're locked in. It's a tie right now. To me, I feel like preseason games, everybody kind of sloughs them off as unimportant, but this will be a good test of that. The final preseason game is in Las Vegas. If you remember, Jake Moody was 0 for 2 in the preseason, his rookie year in Vegas to begin. I think that was the first game of the preseason. And then in the Super Bowl, of course, he was brilliant as a field goal kicker, but missed an extra point in a game that went to overtime. So that it could come down to Vegas. Maybe it's a reason to still be watching late in the fourth quarter of the third preseason game in Las Vegas there. So I think that the preseason games are going to go a long way towards dictating who wins.
Talking with Matt Barrows of The Athletic, covers the 49ers there. Matt, real quick, first of all, I'm locked into the fourth quarter of those preseason games because I'm trying to figure out practice squad offensive linemen, all right?
Love it.
You can watch the kickers. I'm going to be finding out what Austin Pleasance is up to. Real quick, though, speaking of offensive linemen, our guy Alfonso in the chat here asked a good question. Do you feel like that we've heard a lot of Nick Bosa looks great, Trent Williams looks washed, Do you get that kind of vibe? Like, how's that head-to-head battle been going?
It's been pretty one-sided towards Bosa. We haven't seen a ton of it. That's one of the reasons why Brock Purdy has, quote unquote, struggled. He's had to deal with Nick Bosa. There was a practice, I guess it was Monday's practice, and they were doing a move the ball period. So, as close to real football as you can get. And Bosa just kept beating Trent Williams. And Williams came off the field at one point and kind of slapped his thigh, and you could tell that he was frustrated with everything. To me, I sort of saw that as positive. I think that Trent Williams hasn't always been somebody that, how do I put this delicately? He can sort of rest on his laurels. He wasn't in training camp last year. But I just feel like that I hate to go to the iron sharpens iron cliche, but I mean, I feel like that's going to happen throughout August this year, is that Williams is going to get so peed off at losing to Bosa that he's going to be on his game, and that both guys are going to be better for it by the time they go up to Seattle in early September.
Brick by brick, I'm hearing.
You just got to keep stacking days is what you need to do.
That's Matt Barrows. He covers the 49ers over at The Athletic. One of the legends doing it. Matt, we really appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on. And thanks for reading the book, Kyle. I do appreciate that.
I'll go find the other guy and have him amend his review.
What the heck is that?
Muddy the Waters, the book. What a joke.
Appreciate
you, Matt. See you, buddy. It's Matt Barrows. Muddy the Water, legitimately